Salut, c'est moi Camille. Et aujourd'hui nous avons Hilaire avec nous.
Failed 4 times before.
What's your favorite cartoon? What's your favorite character? Oh, come! This is it! This is the place! And your wife was right.
Yeah.
Caesar played football and futsal with me. With Bartek, who's another driving instructor in PL driving school. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Can I have your seatbelt again as well? Come on!
I got 5 different exams. And I got
Big shout out to Eliza.
yeah.
You are a black version of myself, okay?
Work very hard.
Attends. Salut, c'est moi Camille. Et aujourd'hui nous avons Hilaire avec nous qui est très content.
Bien sûr, bien sûr.
Alors Hilaire, qui s'est passé ce matin?
Ouais, je viens de passer mon test.
Okay, in English.
No problem, man. Yeah. So I just passed my test
Yes.
and I got proof.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Certificate.
Not just talking. I have proof to back it up. Mm-hmm. And one thing I want to say to you is that this gentleman is fantastic instructor. Failed 4 times before in a row. Mm-hmm. Then met this guy in the.
Let me tell you. So you met me 25th of October.
Yes.
Okay. Then you sent me a message saying, "Listen, mate, I'm not just a student with no knowledge. You know, I'm a pro driver. I just need little touch here and there." Okay. Yeah. I mean, no, seriously. First of all, your case is very interesting. Okay, because this channel, this YouTube channel, is for you, all the pupils who are doing your course at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, your case, there's so many levels where things went wrong.
Yeah.
Your approach, your
Yeah.
attitude, your thinking about how much you know.
Yeah.
No, I can drive, I can move the car. So
Yeah.
what's wrong? What's wrong? So you failed
4
four
times.
times.
4 times.
Why did you fail 4 times? Because you
I
didn't.
didn't know what I was doing. You know, I used to, I got taught by my missus, who has been driving, and well, you know how it is, especially from an African guy, how it is to take instruction from the wife. So I was the one correcting the wife when we were doing the lessons. So,
And your wife was right.
yeah, she was
Big
right.
shout out
because
to Deborah.
I didn't know what I was doing, but because I could move the car from A to B, I thought I was a driver. Mm-hmm. So 4 times in a row.
So
I
you
failed
booked your
the
first test.
Yeah.
What happened during? Do you remember what happened during the?
That first one, what proved to me that I didn't know squat, first of all, was the fact that they said to me first time, pull over to the left. And I literally climbed on top of the curb with both wheels. And I thought that, it was a safe thing to do because you don't want to block the road.
I feel sorry for the examiner. I seriously, I do. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I failed because of that. And also when they say pull over to the right and reverse through car lanes, I mean, they kept doing this because the car was going either too quick or was braking too sharply. Mm-hmm. So that was the 2 things that made me fail that.
Okay.
And second time,
Second test.
I did speeding. I missed a 20 zone, and I thought I was still in the 30 zone, so I was going like 25.
And then you realized months later.
Yes.
Where it was.
Where it was, because Cam took me there after I explained to him approximately where it was. So when I got there, I'm like, yeah.
Hilaire said, "Oh, come! This is it. This is the place." Yeah.
So that was the second time. The third time also, it was roundabout, positioning on the roundabout.
Let's stop here. Let's talk about roundabouts, because this is, speeding, of course, pulling up on the left is difficult, blah, 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 but roundabouts, it's a nightmare for pupils. Yeah. Not even pupils, it's a nightmare for the full license holders. Yeah. Absolutely terrified. But, I explained things to you, where to look, where the threat comes from.
Yeah.
Where to look is the most important bit. Yeah. Obviously, MSPSL.
When to start your observation.
When to start your observation, yes. Let's talk about. So let's get back to the speed problem.
Yes.
Speeding problem. Why do you think you didn't recognize the sign, for example?
Sign. Well, I think because at that point, because I never really had a real instructor, so I wasn't looking further than maybe 50 meters away from me. So imagine turning and it's right there, but now you're not looking where you're supposed to be looking because you didn't even realize that it's at the top because you're not looking further. So even when you're doing the observation, if you're going to turn, you got to check already on the left to make sure you see if there's any change of speed limit. And those are the things that I learned in 1 minute time that I didn't have a clue about before.
Yeah, obviously no mirror before you slow it down, you were slowing down, nothing at all. Nothing. Can you imagine doing the test knowing anything at all?
But imagine today on the roundabout thing, when we met the first time, I said you might not know was what? Roundabout. I had about 2 big roundabouts and about maybe 5-6 mini roundabouts today. Tackling them, not an issue. Because there's a difference between driving with the knowledge and driving because you're thinking you're moving the car so you're doing it right. So there's driving with a purpose and moving the car. Yeah,
that's different. This is differentiation you realized during the course with me, with PL driving school. Yes, I mean 100%. because you can drive a car, and many of you, I know that you know, because we have these conversations. I say, I give you the keys, drive me to Chester. Boom, you can drive me to Chester. And then, come on, let's do the test. I mean, no, mate, you're not ready. Because the DVLA standards and moving the car and being aware about your driving style, about the highway code and everything else is a completely different matter. So, I give you the keys, you're driving to Chester, but we start a mock test, and you're going to fail, round the corner.
Exactly. But talking about that, today in my test, I was able to avoid 2 incidents where normally if it was me before, definitely would have been an accident.
What was it?
Well, there was a moment where a driver, I'm coming, and he's coming out to merge into the main road. And never looked my side one bit and just straight away came in. But luckily for me, I already saw him because when he came out, the way he came out, I started looking at the driver, not where I'm going. Because the way he approached it, I thought this is a bit too quick. This is not like somebody who's gonna, slow down. So rather than looking at where I'm going, I started looking at the driver. And sure enough, he came in. But
hazard perception.
Yes, but at that time I already dropped my speed down to almost 17 because I saw it coming. That's the first one. The second one was when we got to Little Junction and we merging, and this gentleman is walking. I mean, there's no pedestrian, crossing there or anything like that. He's walking and he just never looked straight into the main road and started crossing. I had to stop. But I was only able to avoid that because now my speed when I'm approaching the junction is correct. But before, and Cam would testify to that because when we started, he realized how fast I was approaching roundabout and how harsh I was braking. But at that point, I was already very low in speed. Why? Because again, this gentleman, the body language never looked like he was going to look or slow down or stop. So again, if it was me before, I probably would have hit this gentleman.
Now everything's planned.
So you plan ahead. The way you approach the junction, the speed you approach with, and also, most importantly, the observation. Because if you don't observe at the junction, things will surprise you.
Yes, unfortunately, you as a driver need to think for others.
Yes.
This is how it works. And you're going to see it sooner or later. Yeah, so third test failed. What about the fourth one?
Well, the fourth one, it was actually because he was talking about observation. Because that time, you can imagine that after 3 tests, I picked a few things already, so I'm not going to make that many mistakes anymore. But I had the observation at the roundabout, okay? And what they call lane discipline. For those who will be taken to the dual carriageway, be careful not to either drift on the left or too much on the right. Be in the center. And that's another thing I learned because before I thought as long as I am in
center
my
of your lane.
Yes.
Center of your lane. Yes.
Yeah, I used to think as long as I am in my lane, right? It doesn't matter if I go as long as I don't cross the line. But that's not true. You can't just left too much on the left or too much on the right. You gotta stay in the center of your lane. Yeah. So that was the first thing. He told me about lane discipline. And the second one was that observation at the roundabout. Because when I started, I had to stop very quickly because
you started the observation just before the roundabout, not on the approach to a roundabout.
Exactly.
Yes.
So imagine an examiner.
They were driving like this. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Can I have your seatbelt again as well? Come on, come on.
Imagine an examiner who doesn't know you, and in less than 10 minutes already know that you racked up maybe 4 or 5 miles. He's not trusting what you're doing. No. And now this is a roundabout and you come there and you're about to charge and he sees the car start turning your way and you have to harsh brake.
Not only this,
Yeah.
you didn't have the dual control.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hilaire was driving in his own car,
My
so there
wife's
was no pedals for the examiner to react to use. Yeah, just imagine you have no actually control over a guy who had no actually idea about driving.
Well, after that roundabout, the rest of the test, he had his hand close to the seat. I don't know if he was grabbing the seat belt or he was grabbing someplace.
Not just around handbrake somewhere, I suppose, just in case, you know.
So, but
or just to undo the seatbelt, open the door and run away.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it was rough. And you had to commend this examiner, putting their lives, or an instructor, putting their lives in the hands of people who have no clue about driving. And they will take you on Joe carried way and all these things. I think you got to commend these guys.
And many of you think, oh yeah, you know, it might be lucky today, so I might pass it. And if you're not gonna have proper lessons with a driving instructor, forget it. I mean, seriously, forget it. Waste of your time.
Don't try it.
Waste of your money, and basically putting yourself in danger. Okay. So what went wrong? You never had a driving instructor.
Number one.
Number two.
Well, number two, no knowledge. Because if you don't have an instructor, how can you acquire the knowledge required to drive on the road?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Because I could move the car. I was driving to Chester, just like Cam just said. No problem. But like I said, there's a difference between moving a car and driving with a purpose. Driving with a purpose is up to you. It's about having the, well, I don't know if you can call it DVLA driving standard. That's what they're looking for. Like I said, in just 1 month with Cam, my driving, and I told you that yesterday before the test today, I said to you, listen, I've never felt this confident before because I can see further than I used to see. I can see things happening before they happen.
What's your favorite maneuver?
Oh, parallel parking.
Yes, that's
parallel
it.
Parking.
Yeah. What else went wrong? Your test was postponed.
Yes.
On the day of the test, Hilaire got a phone call an hour before his test that, I'm sorry, but your test won't take place today.
Because of strikes.
Because of strikes and everything. So you can imagine what happens in your head. You don't sleep well, sometimes they don't sleep at all, or they wake up early in the morning, emotions, worries, everything else kicks in. You're ready, you know, it's either, what's it called? Fight or flight.
Oh, yeah.
Fight or flight kicks in. So you're prepared for fighting, and then you get a phone call, I'm sorry, not today.
Yeah.
All this tension,
frustration
and everything kicks in. Then you doubt yourself. What if it's going to happen again? Should I prepare 100%, 200%, or maybe 80%, and have this at the back of your head that you know perhaps it's not going to be the day. So that went wrong as well.
But one advice, go with the flow. What that means is, if your test is cancelled, even at the day, do not think, oh, because the instructor believes that I'm ready, I'm going to wait the 2 or 3 weeks before I do my test, so I'm not going to have any more lessons because we were about to do it. Carry on with the lessons because we had 4 more lessons since then, and I can promise you I learned a few things from these 4 lessons that also helped me today. So do not think, oh yeah, I'm ready, I'm going to stay. Otherwise, you could be rusty on the day. Okay?
Everything drops.
Yeah, everything drops. Your focus, everything. Like now I passed, first thing I got to buy the car quick. You know what I mean? I have to buy a car
to stay
quick.
in shape.
Stay in shape. It's like they say, you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Yes,
if you don't use it, you lose it. So it's the same thing.
C'est vrai?
If you stay longer without doing anything, I'm a football coach, and you know about that, Cam. I have players taking 2 weeks off, just 2 weeks. And when they come back, we have to do another, maybe rehabilitation in terms of their physicality for like a month, just to compensate the 2 weeks that they lost. So just continue with the flow. You have to. And just finish when you go. And get this little beautiful paper here. Okay? It might not look beautiful, but to me right now, it's gonna look beautiful for
opens a lot of doors.
Oh
now.
yes. Oh yes, especially with me, you know that.
Okay, so now I met you at a petrol station.
You don't want to go there.
It was your wife's call. Okay, go. There's a driving instructor. I was buying petrol. Go, ask him your lesson. Wow.
Well, she was daring me because, funny enough, we're driving on the road coming from the town center, and my wife, you know, bless her, she's always, because she knew I was always looking for instructors, but I couldn't find any because you know what is going on right now. So she was always, if she's on, you know, on her own, then she would snapshot somebody. You know, an instructor's car with a number at the top, bring it home, then we have to call. So that day now, I was in the car with her. She's like, oh, you know, take the number. And I'm like, wow, you know, I can just talk to him now. Well, how are you going to talk to him? I said, well, look, he's signaling that he's going to the petrol station. How about we follow him there and have a chat? And I can remember the look in Cam's face when I came out and said, excuse me, mate. You know, he's like, okay, what did I do now?
What's wrong with you? What now? Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, to show you that this guy has a very kind heart, he took time to listen to me. And he said to me, listen, give me your number. I don't have any space right now.
I didn't.
But guess what? If something comes up, I will call you.
Now, there is a waiting list, and all the pupils need to remember when they get in touch with the instructors.
Yeah.
It all depends on your availability, really. Hilaire's case, he said, listen, mate, from 9 till 3, I'm available every day, apart from the weekends because you're a coach. So I said, okay, so if I'm going to have empty slots, I cannot promise you anything. It's not going to be, it's going to be random, very random. I can look into my graphic, I can look into my timetable, and let's work on something. So, but if somebody is available after 5, you know, the waiting list is unfortunately pretty long. So I met you at the petrol station, 25th of October.
Jonestown, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, Jonestown.
Yeah, and now we started lessons
I think it was somewhere.
November the 17th.
Yes.
Today is the 16th of January. Okay.
Yep.
So can you do your license within 2 months? Yes, you can, but it all depends availability, commitment, motivation. Okay, there's so many factors. My availability as well. So it's doable, but then there's so many things you need to look.
Everything else, isn't it?
Exactly.
You get what you put in. You get what you.
And
put
it was
in.
fantastic. I mean, shame I didn't have a camera. I think I need to start doing the bloody GoPro in the, in the car, and because those moments, those light bulb moments when, for example, you discovered the clutch.
Oh yes.
This was a game changer.
Oh yes. I tell you what, mate. That examiner today could not believe the control that I had on the clutch. I mean,
really?
It stopped me about 3 times on the hill just to maybe test, because he tried the maneuvers.
It was pure luck. It was probably pure luck.
He tried the maneuvers and he knew he's not going to get away with maneuvers because, I was killing it. So now he thought, you know what, I'm going to test this guy with pressure. That's number one. Remember that they will try to put you under pressure just to test your mind.
Because driving is about pressure.
Yeah. Yes. So with a line of cars behind me, uphill, and on the narrow road, he says to me, stop before that lamppost. And I did stop, but now you have this long line of cars behind you.
Hang on, did you check the mirrors?
100%.
Of course.
100%.
Yes.
Those are the little things that put you through just to test your mind. So now I look in the mirror and I see this long line of cars. So I slow down, but check the mirror. When I stop, there's no way for these cars to go. Now, I'm going to point you out to 2 things here that he's trying to say. Number 1, are you going to signal before you move? Number 2, are you going to do your observation before you move?
POM.
Yeah. And if I'm at the 3rd one, you want to check, because it's uphill, how your heel start is. And I think at that point,
your left foot is probably like this at the moment.
And as soon as he said, pull over, move off when you're ready. Check, boom, signal. Right, prepared already, and the car never even, jerked it down a little bit, just straight move. And you could see at that point, what he did to this examiner, because he literally sat back, because this is how he was. But after I completed that, he went like this.
Relaxed position.
You see that laptop, what the iPad that they have? He literally covered it and put on his lap. And guess what? For the duration, for the remainder of the test, he did not open the iPad anymore. So
you had what, three minors? I think.
3 minors.
Yes.
So that tells you they're not stupid. The way you do it, the way you do stuff, and the confidence you show in your driving is going to tell them a lot. Whether they put you through a lot of things. Because Cam was asking me, what maneuver did you do? I said, no, I only did one, pulling over to the right and reverse through car length. And he's like, oh, you didn't do any other? I said, no. Why? Because he put you through a lot before that. And he realized that, listen, there's no point telling this guy do, the parallel parking, because he's going to nail it. You know what I mean? He's probably going to nail it. So there's no point. So now he will deviate from that and try now his own brain against yours. He's going to be telling you things, stop here, where he knows there's a lot of pressure, where you need a heel
So it's
start.
either a maneuver or some pressure elsewhere.
Pressure elsewhere. And that's what he chose today, because I think he realized that was after we drove about 20-25 minutes. He realized that this guy is not getting any minus. This guy is not doing anything wrong. Round about all the things, the position and everything, the observation is in on point. The only thing I can catch him with maybe the pulling over to the right. And he did that in a very busy residential area. Very busy residential area. And when he realized that, it didn't work out, because it was very smooth. And he thought, you know what, there's no point giving him one more maneuver, knowing that he's going to do it. Let's test his mind and see if he's really ready, because driving is ready. Is his mind ready? So think about that, guys. They're always going to test your driving skills and your mental skills.
So Yin Yang was there.
Oh yeah, it was on point.
Yin Yang was there. Spider-Man was there.
On point.
Yes, everything was there.
On point.
Yes.
And we drove like what, 40-45 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minors. I'm happy with that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And one of the minors was what? He said that on the third I was going 22.
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes it's residential area, and for a learner driver or a beginner, you're gonna be a bit nervous and careful. You know what I mean? You don't want to start charging into 28 in a residential area because he says 30, and then all of a sudden something comes out and you have to react quick.
Yeah.
That's the end of your test. So it's better for me to take that minor, knowing that the rest of my test, I'm gonna nail it.
Instead of something sudden appearing.
And I can't react.
Yeah.
But look, when I'm going at 22, if anything happens at that time,
Try not to do granny driving.
but
There's that balance. Yeah, there's that balance, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit of luck helps always.
I know when you're driving well and everything's going well, you can tell, because these guys usually every second they go and check. You can see in the corner of your eye that he keep checking. But with this guy, he wasn't checking anything. There was no check anything like that. So he already showed me.
Just imagine, you were probably well known in that test center.
Well, not probably. I was well known.
You had 4 tests where examiners were probably almost dying because of stress.
But guess what, Cam? In 5 today, I got 5 different examiners.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
It was probably you go.
Yeah, you go. I'm not going with that guy again. I'm not jumping in the car with this guy.
Yes.
Every little turn, it was like this. To make sure he sees everything you are doing. You know what I mean? Some of them are like, oh, he's driving well, I'm just going to relax a little bit, just look in the corner of my eye. For the duration of the test, he kept checking.
Your eyes, your hands, your feet.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything. Roundabout, he becomes a driver. He's doing his observation. Everything.
We need to understand that some of the examiners are motorcyclists as well. So they know how important observation is. So therefore, they're going to be looking at you observing properly.
Yeah.
I would like to come back to the point where you said, your examiner said, oh, see that lamppost, pull up just before that lamppost.
Yes.
And I asked you whether you checked the mirrors first.
100%.
So, big shout out to Eliza. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, Eliza, thank you very much.
I watched your video where you said that you fell because of the lack of checking the mirror.
Before you pulled up on the left.
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
Cam will tell you, before he sent me that video, I wasn't checking my interior mirror, because I always have in my mind, mate, I'm going forward. Why do I need to look behind? Okay? But that's the difference again between driving, moving the car, and driving with a purpose.
And it's brilliant. I feel wonderful because I started these videos for all of you to listen to my pupils because they're going to share their experience. So first of all, you will know their errors. Another thing is, they make the same errors as you do. So you might think, oh my God, it's just me. Oh no, what a horrible world. I bet all the others are doing fine. No, they're actually the same or even worse than you, okay? But we all have to gain. We all have to get to that level
100%.
of confidence, okay?
100%.
Yes, I mean, it's a very, I'm very glad that I met you, mate.
No, I'm
I
glad
mean,
I
seriously,
met you, mate.
first of all, when I found out that you're a French speaker, okay, I thought, wow, finally somebody I'm gonna have to, I can speak to in French. I mean, last time I spoke French was 18 years ago in school, okay, when I was passing my A-levels. Then nothing really, and then look at this, you know, we had some little conversations in French during our sessions. Another thing, you were a goalkeeper, international professional goalkeeper, okay? So goalkeepers union. I wasn't international professional, but I played handball, goalkeeper, futsal goalkeeper, 5-a-side, 6-a-side goalkeeper. So we had that bond.
Same difference.
Everything the same. Then, what's your favorite cartoon?
Mate, don't even go there.
Go on. Which one? Dragon Ball. There you are. Yeah.
Okay,
Same here. What's your favorite character?
Well,
from Dragon Ball? Which
well,
one?
It has to be Vegeta.
Vegeta.
It has to be Vegeta.
It has to
It
be.
has to be.
The almighty Prince Vegeta!
Proud.
You know, proud and arrogant.
Stubborn.
Unfortunately,
Yes.
that's the world now. Men can't be proud and,
No,
and arrogant anymore.
this is the thing. Goalkeepers must be like Vegeta.
Oh yes.
Always.
You take on your team and the opponent team.
Exactly.
Okay, the
Yes.
opposition team, because
Yes.
you got to make sure people in your team listen to you.
Yes.
And at the same time, you got to take on the opposition, because the whole purpose of playing football is scoring goals.
Yeah.
And you're the protector of the
Yeah.
goal.
So it's fantastic because PL Driving School, I mean, Caesar, who started this business, played football and futsal with me, with Bartek, who's another driving instructor in PL Driving School. So we all, you know, ex-players. Okay, so what do you do for a living? It's very
I'm
interesting.
a football coach.
Ah, there you are. So if you have any children,
Yes.
any age, any stage,
Yep.
if you want them to end up in Liverpool, Manchester, teams in Italy, Czech Republic.
If you believe that they have what it takes, okay, I'm here to improve them. And not only I can improve them into better quality, but at the same time, I can look for trials for them with professional academies. That's what I do. One of my player, who's only 11, is at the moment at Liverpool, okay, with a select group. Okay, we're just waiting on an email now at any time for him to sign with Liverpool. And we have 2 more that are going to Liverpool for trials. I have one that also might be going to Stoke very soon. So
There you are.
it's all about quality. And sometimes even if you don't believe they have the quality to go higher or to become professionals, you don't know that because they're still very young.
You need somebody who's professional, who would pick it up, who would look into them.
I gave you the example of Max. Okay, I showed you the message from Liverpool yesterday. Was it yesterday? Max came to me as a centre back. He didn't come to me as a goalkeeper. But then straight away I was able to pick on it. Like, he's not going to be a professional centre back, even though he was young. But at 9 years old, I needed to see certain natural quality at that time, you know. But he didn't have any. But again, fortunately for me, when I started playing the match, I said, listen, the other side has no keeper. You guys keep swapping keepers. And he went to go in goals. And this kid was flying around, and I realized that, well, he's going to be tall. He's very agile, and he doesn't mind hurting himself on the ground. Which, as a goalkeeper, those are very, very good qualities to have.
And it turned out he's a brilliant goalkeeper.
Well, I've been training
Isn't
him
it?
8 months
Yes.
as a goalkeeper. Liverpool is probably going to be the ones testing him very soon.
There you are. So, French speaking,
Yeah, football. coach.
football, goalkeeper,
Yeah.
teacher,
Yes.
and Dragon Ball fan.
Oh, yeah.
What else can you do?
Well,
You are a black version of myself,
Exactly.
okay? Yes.
Not to forget one thing, though. Not to forget one thing. We like the same French comedy.
Yes.
Fantomas and Louis de Funès.
Exact. Louis de Funès.
Monsieur ne veut pas que je prenne le volant? Non, là-bas. Regardez, qu'est-ce qu'il fout dans la troisième file?
So things like that.
Yes.
When you bring people together sometimes, guys, that's what happens.
Thank you very much.
All right, mate.
All the best, mate.
All right.
Let's stay in touch.
No problem.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Have a good day.